Welcome back. We have, he sings so much unlike him. Usually we do have him live here in the studio, but somehow some situations beyond his control. He couldn't be here with us this morning, but he has, he has done us the favor of talking to us on phone. He's no other person than our elder statesman, like we usually call him, Mr. Akin Fatunke, a chartered accountant and a public affairs analyst. Good morning.
Good morning, Kenny, and good morning, Nigerians. Pleasure to be here. How are you, Lagos?
Good morning, sir. Welcome to the Bumper Breakfast Show.
Yes, I have Tom Aderele in the studio with me this morning. We are doing this together.
Oh, good morning, Tom. I hope you are doing well.
I am, thank you.
God bless you.
All right, and how is the city of Abuja?
Yes,
The seat of
I like
power.
to say that Abuja is serene. Before I left Lagos, Lagos was intermittent raining. It's been very, very serene here. Good sunshine. Quiet. It's been beautiful, I dare say.
All right, thank you so very much. Okay, let's see what we have in the papers this morning. The Punch newspaper has the lead story. Fuel smuggling persists in borders despite subsidy removal. That's coming from the cause of the customs, and Customs CG rejigs border patrol. Orders crack down on fuel smuggling cartels. NNPCL intercepts Cameroon-bound vessel laden with 800,000 liters of stolen crude oil. This is one story that's all over the papers.
All the papers are carrying this story.
And we cannot but talk about it. Talking about despite the removal of fuel subsidy, we still see that Nigerians are still doing this. Now every time we say government, is this the government also? Hello?
Oh, okay. Oh. Well, exactly. Some of the ratchet effects, that is the terminology in economics, demonstration effects of a bad mind looking after a bad situation. I have always said that we as a people must find a way to restructure our mind. We talk about restructuring the polity and restructuring the politics and restructuring the economic situation. And that rejig has started. But what about us as a people? Are we given to wanting to follow direction so that our children and our children's children will benefit? Or are we going to be looking for short-term gains and looking for criminal avenues to wanting to get to wealth? I am not afraid, nor am I surprised at the same time at what the Punch has just reported. In fact, in one of the scenarios that we painted, and listen to this, this scenario was painted about close to about 24 years ago. You'll be surprised though that we've been looking at the issue of subsidy and subsidy removal for that long, even for longer. We kept on saying that yes, at the end of the day, when subsidy is removed, you still have a situation where you have porous borders, people that will be crawling at night, crawling during the day, money changing hands and still wanting to take it out onto neighboring countries. The only snack that we have in that direction is for the custom boss. It's one thing for you to know that this is happening. It's another thing for you to now begin to have the moral and the physical and the political attitude to begin to how do you put it now, to tackle it. Number one, even if you put all the police and the government to run the porous borders, it will not help. What we need to do, in my mind, is a bit of a carrot and stick. People know one or two or three or four who are involved in this, including their collaborators. Let them put. Let's so-called, meetings for which he was elected chairman, and he was vehement that this kind of criminal elements, not just those who smuggle across the borders to spoil and destroy economies, will not be tolerated. I'm happy that the president of Benin, the Chad Commission too, is going to be visited in the Chad Basin region. They have, one way or the other, even come physically to say hello to Mr. President and to pledge their support. The willing ability to put the noses of these bad elements to grind will help to reduce. Lastly, it is true that the smuggling might persist. You also know that you have to look at the purchasing power of those on the other side. I'm talking of the smuggled countries. A situation where whatever is smuggled out of Nigeria is going to be sold at double or triple the price.
Yeah.
What is the purchasing power of these people? My point is simple. This will go on for as much as we allow. This will go on for as much as we don't have the moral rectitude to put the noses of these people to a grind. This will go on for as long as our neighboring countries, leaders of our neighboring countries, would even want to allow this to continue. And I want to believe, as I always predict, that this will linger for a little while. At the end of the day, water will begin to find its level. It will continue, but at a much more reduced and reducing rate. And if we who know some of the people who are doing this, we know them. Some of those stations, filling stations, we call them, petrol stations we have along the border, some of the things that has to be done will have to find a way to close them entirely, because they are being used as a channel of wanting to take well within the borders of Nigeria, when in actual fact it's going to be smuggled abroad. The mainstream regulatory authorities would now have to wake up a little bit more, put our eyes, our noses, our ears, our thinking cap together. These bad people cannot be much more smart than the number of good intention people that we have. And sooner than later, we shall all be singing a song of redemption for both ourselves in Nigeria and those who are outside Nigeria.
All right, thank you so very much, sir. So what we should be hoping for is that it's a gradual process before all of this can definitely be cleared up.
Yes.
Okay, let me just run through all the stories on the front page of the Punch News. So it's we have Lagos Airport runway lights stolen, 7 suspended. Fayose will pay for working against Atiku. That's coming from Atiku and PDP. That's coming from a NEC member. And NLC meets governors over fuel subsidy palliatives. PDP demands transparency as Akeredolu extends sick leave. Lagos vigilantes torture colleague to death over phone. Oh my God. All right, above the nameplate we have it's illegal for National Assembly to fix members' pay. That's coming from Obasanjo. Ecobank asks FBN to reject Otudeko's share accusation. And Tinubu can't appoint every minister, says Adamu. I want us to, talk about, I don't want us to really go into the runway lights stolen, because that's another kettle of fish this morning. But this issue about the governor of Ondo State, Governor Akeredolu, he's been out, he's been sick for some time, and yesterday we heard that so that he can get recover quickly you can recover more, or better rather, that he has extended his leave. We remember that some time ago he gave the power of attorney to his vice president, and the PDP they are talking here, and I think a lot of Nigerians are also talking about this, that what actually is happening to the governor of Ondo State. Also, the question on my mind is that why is it difficult for our lawmakers, elected leaders, and all of them to just resign when, it seems as if it's inevitable?
Oh yes, your last statement is the ultimate statement at the end of the day. But in reality, truth must be told that we are still evolving, still crawling the walk. When you compare ourselves to a much more developed democracy. I remember that Fidel Castro, after he took bed ill and dead, virtually, dead mentally, was not going to eventually resign until like Mbadu said, come became. Power intoxicates, and power intoxicates inexorably. I dare say. Having said that, I will begin to let you know, Kenny, that I am also a Nigerian. And the Nigerians are talking, they are saying ABCD, what has happened to Arakuni, Akeredolu will happen to any of us. And I think I will score him very high in terms of doing what he did. We had a president who took ill and who took seriously ill and was shielded and covered until you remember the doctrine of necessity that came with Jonathan Arakuni.
Yeah, that's the late President Yaradua.
Yes, has ceded through a letter when he was going, and when he has found that he still needs more time, he's also written. That's to my mind, no matter how one looks at it, still looks to me to be chivalry. That looks to me to be responsibility. And as a Nigerian also, I think I will join those who are praying for Arapuri Akeredolu for speedy recovery. That is what I, through my culture, through my gestalt, and through my morality, want to pray for him. I would then extend it to where you are right now. Sorry, I mean to your last statement, Kenny, and that is the fact that who will know more than Akeredolu and his doctors, and when that time comes, for instance, because things can swing right or left. I think legally speaking, that power of attorney, what you describe as power of attorney, should be done in such a way that if anything now happens, the mill of governance will continue. Yeah. What am I saying? I am saying that yes, if it becomes most inevitable from what we have seen Akeredolu, what he has done so far, I have no doubts within me that he will want to do the needful. And to the politician, that is their stock in trade. When you see one person fall, everybody draws the dagger and stuff like that, forgetting that it's going to be the way of all flesh. My bottom line, I wish Arapuni Akeredolu speedy recoveries. I score him as one of the best governors that we have found in Nigeria since we came back into democracy since 1999, and he's done very well for his region. He's done quite well for his state. Yes, it cannot be perfect. We have a few things that are hanging at the sides. His son being nominated to, at least being made a special advisor and commissioner and all that. Those are not the best of the best of things, and making sure that he keeps his family intact from public glare. all put together, I wish Arakoni a speedy recovery. We are still praying for him. I'm also praying for those who don't wish him well, that the sort of Damocles will not swing over their head. Let's all be very, very careful in the way we conduct the affairs of Nigeria. It is service after all. It is service, and that's what should do.
Yes. All right, thank you. Let's see what we have in the Guardian newspaper.
Well, the Guardian newspaper this morning says Nigeria flares $3.9 billion gas in 4 years amid pollution and revenue leakage concerns.
Oh my God.
Sir, this is serious.
It is not that serious. The Vanguard is looking at 4 years.
No, the Guardian.
That's the Guardian.
Okay, the Guardian. Okay, well, in fact, most of the newspapers have a surprising business day. Too will not be highlighting this. But the point is, you are looking at 4 years. From my experience of working in that industry for decades, I would say for close to about 50 years. In fact, I will even extend it beyond that to when we started oil drilling at Oloibiri. Gas, which we have in large commercial quantities, much more than the fossil deep crude fuels that we talk about, are money spinners. But because we have put gas before the horse, those gas which are natural emission from the production, we have not been able to pipe them and then make a lot of money. The Ukraine-Russian war would have been time that Nigeria will be smiling and rolling in petrol dollars. That has not been done. Well, what was not done 50, 60 years ago, more than 60 years ago.
Can it be done now?
Now, with the gas pipeline that will traverse a number of countries onto Morocco, to be a lot of money spinner. I believe that with the kind of bold political, economic moves that are being made to attract not just FDIs, but foreign capital investments, we are in good straight. We will get on there. That is number one. Secondly, there has been a lot of corruption. I mean, this is everybody knows about this. A lot of corruption from NNPC, the oil majors, and all that. They kept on shifting when glass flaring will stop. A lot of under the table deals running into trillions upon trillions of dollars would be over these years have gone down the drain. Now that we have a new sheriff in town, like I said, we start a bit gradually. Some of the fiscal malfeasance that has happened, tax that ought to have come to the covers of government, royalties that ought to have come to the covers of government, that Transparency International has highlighted over and over again, and that no government has been bold enough, has the moral and political leverage to do. We are beginning to see it within, maybe early days, 1 month plus. If you continue with that trajectory, we will first of all reduce the losses, take the advantage that we need to take, and then begin to leap forward. That is the way it is. It's a monumental shame, and both in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, and super strong matadors have benefited so much from this. With everybody coming on board, and we do a proper stakeholder mapping, we will first of all begin to reduce, attract investments, and then make life abundant for generations unborn of Nigerians. I have hope, and I believe that hope is going to manifest by the space like this of the Almighty God, and with active connivance and work of people who know what to do, how to do it, and how to get us there.
Well, I cannot but say amen to that.
hope is really the watchword here. You know, having hope is watchword, because just as you said, this has been on for so long a time.
Yes.
And if we are looking at making it a major focus now, we're hoping against hope, just as you are, that with this new leadership, with this new sheriff in town, that something good will be done.
Exactly.
And not just, you know, be done, but as soon as possible, so that we can start to make the monies that we've been losing over the years. PDP governors meet as internal crisis heighten. What is causing the crisis in the PDP? I know. EcoBank urges Federal First Bank of Nigeria against ratifying Otudeco's share acquisition. Can we discuss this? We know what's been happening recently in First Bank.
First Bank Holdings.
Yes. What do you think? What's your opinion, sir?
It's, you know, with him trying to get the 4 point what trillion.
I tell you, when elephants begin to fight,
It's the grass that suffers.
It's the grass that suffers.
Certainly.
Miss Mwogugu aptly tagged it Game of Thrones at the First Bank Holding Company. The Matadors have entered the ring, and then a lot is going to be at stake.
Yes, definitely.
Let's start from the grass. Those of us who are the grass. Investors in First Bank and First Bank Holding and stuff like that should keep their ears, their
Close to the ground.
Their ears open, their eyes wide open.
when the Matadors begin the fight, one of the things that is most likely to happen is share price to begin to go up. So just get set. But on a much more serious note, the boardroom traveling that I just happened, and Otudeco is seizing boardroom technocrats coming in to do that one singular deal just off the cuff. I hear, from what I also hear, is that the aim is to prevent Otedola.
Yeah. It seems to be, well, so to speak, the battle. If you've been following the story, it's a battle between Otedola and...
It's the two elephants that are fighting.
And the two elephants fighting. I will also now just say that may the best happen to Nigeria. May they not find themselves silly. May the regulators be on so that a lot of what finance experts call insider trading, illegal acquisition that is just done for the sake of just wanting to take power is not done. If they have the money, I mean, we are talking of billions of dollars of naira now, which is not small money in dollars. They have the money and they can bring it in. Otudeco, being the matador himself, having sold Honeywell and putting that money to want to bounce back. Remember that Otudeco was the first chairman of First Bank.
Yes.
And one thing or the other happened. There was the fight for who should be the MD. I didn't know Tom should be taken in or not taken out. He kind of stood his ground. You remember Mrs. Awushika also, and they had to lose their bid when Emefiele had to wheel the big stick to say that Adedunton was taken up without due process. And that has been going on and on and on and on. For now, what is most important for me is a situation where the other silent matador, the one we call Otedola, we watch to see whether he will put his hands at his back or he want to do a bit of a fight back. Ladies at the studio there and Nigerians, let me put it out here clearly. Nigeria is, in a sense, we are in for a good time where the level playing field is even. People will call in and bring in a lot of money money into the investment trough for Nigeria, and I begin to see quite a number of FDIs coming in. We are beginning to see nice runs at the stock exchange. If more of this is coming in, it's an indication that investors both in and out are believing in the economic fortunes of Nigeria. Good times is going to come. Albeit, let it be done cleanly, morally, and according to the rule of law. Good times are out there. When last did you see this kind of thing? Okay, maybe we saw it in the closing days of Buhari, when Tony Elumelu and the same Matado or Tedola were virtually fighting it dirty on Transcorp.
Yes.
And if they fight dirty, who will take the benefit of it? At least those of us who are at the that level, we only plead for the regulators to keep their eyes and their ears wide open, and central bank not to have undue interest in wanting to decide what should happen to some of these big companies.
Yeah, as in not taking sides now.
Oh, certainly not taking sides.
I was going to get there, because now EcoBank is saying something. Other banks too who want to say something.
Yes.
I mean, is it really right for them to? Is this thing not going to get dirty?
It will naturally get dirty, but the law is there to regulate. I know that to do that.
And CBN stands as an umpire here.
Oh yes, and Otunesco has been heavily indebted, and the judgment debt has been declared, and they sold Honeywell and is virtually repaid, make some repayment. Question now is, with all that has happened, and now being the largest investor, and with a decision about to be made sometime in August or not too long ago, will the shareholders, the investor public, want that to happen? Just climb like that? It's not left to them. But I also know that many people are fighting back. They are fighting back. They are trying to say that let the apple cart continue the way it is, so we don't spill them, or it doesn't become a dead tier that we have seen. Let's keep our fingers crossed. We are the grass.
And we're watching.
Let us make sure that they benefit us, and they don't crash the enterprise on the back of their wanting to climb to power.
Selfish interests, more or less, selfish interests. Okay, the final story on the Guardian newspaper this morning, cover page of the Guardian newspaper this morning, is why Nigeria remains country of concern in obnoxious wildlife trade.
All right.
What did you call it?
Wildlife trade.
We still have people that we still hit our bushmeat. Well, some people still eat. Maybe from people from Mr. Akifatunke's area, they can't do without the bushmeat.
No, the bushmeat is very important for yes, just as you said, for certain people. Since COVID, I'm sure a lot of people have been skeptical about eating bushmeat because all sorts of, myths.
Don't just go outside the country. Don't go and be eating bushmeat anyhow.
I need to even learn how to eat bushmeat, because the way people who eat bushmeat talk about it, you want to eat it.
All right, let's see what Nigerian Tribune is having this morning. The lead story here is security firm intercepts its 100,000 liter capacity vessel with stolen crude oil. We talked about that. Akeredolu extends medical leave, and terrorists kill 8-month-old baby. Another 8 in Plateau. Military recovers 5 rifles, live ammunition. Let me just take a pause here. And, it seemed to be as if terrorism is back to be the order of the day now. It seemed that almost every other day we see this news again in the, happening in the polity. So what are we, it doesn't mean that terrorism is becoming I don't want to, for want of a better word, is it becoming a norm that it seems as if we are just there? It's okay. Oh, these are not killing these. What's up? We're just there. What's your take about this?
My take about it is most unfortunate that this is still happening. Again, the teaching pain that you are going to have when you want to rebalance yourself. We just want a terribly biased election. Before the election, alleged that the powers that be and some of the ones that are helping to fuel and provide oxygen to these non-state actors, kidnappers, and what have you. When the elections were around, everything just went a bit quiet. And then, like the matadors that we described earlier, saying that winners are emerging, losers are emerging, irrespective of where it's going to. It looks like the national consensus to making sure that we move in a right direction is not going. So we are now back to seeing what you have just described. It's been bloodbath. The month of towards the end of May, really, up till now, the amount of blood that has been spilled right from Benue, Plateau, on a daily basis is unimaginable. It therefore tells me that we need to win, as I've always preached, the heart and the mind of our populace. Security will have to be everybody's business. We have to get back to intelligent security matters, to be a bit fair. I use the word a bit fair. The new government that has come in, that has within 2 days, I guess, because I started saying that from about day 3 of this administration, calling on the security chiefs for collaboration and making intelligence to be part of what should be, and then shifting the paradigm and getting back to new people on the line. I will say, Kenny, as I always try to say, expectations are high, but must be doused, must be made to be a bit realistic. You do not, for instance, put a corn on the ground and you expect to have corn ears 2, 3, 4 days. It will take a bit of a time. The only challenge here is that will more blood continue to be shed? Yes, they no. Whether it is Bola Tinubu that is president, or it's going to be Kwankwaso that will be president, or Showore that will be president, Peter Obi or Atiku. The truth of the matter is that whoever is the captain of the ship will still have to tide over what we are saying. So there's a need to quickly move into the hinterland. I'm very glad that our partners who are looking at us, who are giving us support. Great Britain, for instance, the UK, I beg, the US, and China have come out clearly to say they are out there. I know people have been raising a bit of some eyebrow when the Chinese warship came on visit to Nigeria. They are all part of the pact that's supposed to come and help us from the outside while we try to help ourselves from the inside. What needs to be done, therefore, at the end President Bola Tinubu, hopefully he will get around it, that we need total restructuring of Nigeria to give power back to the grassroots. The way we have proctored it, I'm afraid it's not getting us the kind of dividends. We have chiefs, okay, we have local champions, we have local government, we have state government. Are they up to the task? In this wise, please permit me, with due respect, to go and shift beyond what you are asking me to say, to look at what is happening in Borno, and Zulum is getting hands-on. He just banned traders doing metal things. I expect the governors in some of these areas, even if some of them are new, to get on top of it. You move from hamlet to coast. Get the traditional rulers. Who are the people who are within your enclave? What kind of work are they doing? We need to be able to drill down to be able to help our military. And again, to us also say, I give kudos to our military. No matter what anybody says, they are trying their best within the capacity of what they have on.
Let me hold your thought a bit there. Now, talking about the military and all the security parastatals as a whole now, we have seen time and time again where the commander-in-chief of the nation has been, had done change of security chiefs. And it seemed to be as if nothing is being changed. It's just the personalities that are being changed now. The people are saying that when insurgency persists for 24 hours, then you should begin to check within, the covers of even, it's coming from the leadership itself. Well, that's a popular saying. Do you not think that other than all of these that you have said, the chiefs themselves should begin to look inwards and to begin to ask themselves if there is a mole in there, and if there is a mole, or there are moles rather, so to speak, how they can begin to fish those moles out before they can, perfectly begin to deal with the terrorism outside.
Oh yes, certainly. Drilling down, you just spoken about the chief, and I speak about yourself, Jenny. I speak about myself. I speak about individuals in there. I speak about the communities, the streets, the hamlets. When we see what is untoward, we speak out. We will not continue to say that they are going to come after us, or they are going to kill us, or whatever it is. The more we do that, the more we are burying our graves. And can you put it succinctly? A common wit, when I say wit, I mean W-I-T. A common knowledge says, when you are in a pit, please stop digging, stop crying, stop shouting, stop where you are, close the tap, and then begin to find a way to get help up. I like to say this is exactly what we have found. Take it or leave it in terms of changing the services. All of them saying that we are classmates, we are the same classmates. We have always been collaborating, and we will continue to collaborate. But they need us. You hit it on the head. They need us. I'm also happy that you have quoted Abacha there, Abacha, the Google one, who has said that if the thing continues to persist for more than a week or a month, then we better look inwards. So these are inward-looking things. Now, a lot of polls have been put out in Jogo. They are number one, even though we don't have the exact dates. We are going to be doing the population census. We are going to be asking ourselves, who are we? What are the demographics? Who are the strangers amongst us? the borders that have been porous, unfortunately, that was not properly managed by the last regime. I'm talking of the Buhari regime, that opened our borders, and then they got their cousins and people of very funny being to come into our country, the Pamaheda crisis, all put together. Okay, so let's stop. Yes, the blood will unfortunately will continue to flow, but stop. Can we begin to now find and begin to see a bit of a reduction? I have not been able to test it, but Nuhu Ribadu made a statement when they paid a visit to the president and said, well, the thing seems to be reducing. Kenny, your reading of the newspapers, for what we know, doesn't look as if it is reducing in the kind of quantum that we need.
Yes.
We need to find.
Yes.
I also am very happy that we are beginning to speak with, call them warlords, call them non-state actors. I think those engagements should continue, and the chiefs, like you have said, should be given matching orders. If this continues to happen, then that means you are not on top of it. I am not looking at which one thing, but the more the blood flow, you read the statement just now that cringed me. I mean, what kind of human beings will take an infant and kill an infant?
Really very sad and shameful.
It should be shameful. Kenny, part of the problem I have is you are expecting the police, you are expecting the military to come. Yes, I don't have a problem in asking them to come. What about the people living in that enclave and in that environment? Intelligence policing tells you that they have an idea.
It brings me. It brings me back to this question.
What are they doing? What are they doing? You are waiting for another one to happen. I'm simply just making a statement to say that it's more than a collective responsibility. We see some of these things, we smell them, we hear cries and wailings at night, and we all just keep quiet and say, well, it's not happening in our compound. When you begin to see some of these things,
let me cut in here to say that now, do you not think that people are handicapped in the sense that
Precisely.
Now we have talked over and over and over again about community policing. Now we already have here in the southwest the Amotekun. How armed are those people? We see that those terrorists, thank God we can boldly now call them terrorists, for what they are. We see them coming with the kind of sophisticated ammunitions that these people living in the community cannot withstand. So when there is an attack, instead of me being a victim, I try to take cover, and I think that is what is happening.
Precisely.
So, and we talk about community policing. How much, are these people armed? And also, who and who can we trust to even, give, these ammunitions to, even if you want to do, this has to be done. You want to say something?
May I just add that, apart from the fact that, they don't have the arms, do they even have the finances, even if they came together as a community to want to fight these people, to plan to fight these people? Do they have the finances, to be able to purchase, weapons to withstand the kind of sophisticated weapons that these terrorists have? These are questions we need to answer. I mean, and if they don't, where will the funding be coming from?
Yes.
All these, it's a total package. I don't think we should just single this out, because I think they're as concerned as we are, because one day the buck will stop at their tables, and I'm sure they're living in fear, some sort of fear, because they don't know when this buck will be passed to them and will stop at their tables. But because they are helpless, they're handicapped, perhaps, they're not able to do anything. What's your take on this?
My dear ladies and mothers, notice the way I have addressed you. I feel your pain. and I feel your thoughts. For me to say to you on television that you are not speaking sense will be most uncharitable. I hear you so loudly. The whole thing is skewed against the Holy Poloi, the common man, and all that. I hear that very clearly. But what I'm also saying is that, well, those problems are there. Higher firepower, arms in the hands of terrorists, gone on and all that. Well, we all know. And it's the reason why I said, when you are in a hole, let's stop digging. Let's expect that the powers that be, okay? When I say the powers that be, the ones who hold the reign of leadership and not rulership, are looking at that from top. And I'm also saying that those of us who are helpless, God has a way. I don't know how it does. God has a way of giving power to the powerless. We must be able to see and be able to take control of our little enclave. It is when things are not done and those little enclaves, and then we just throw up our hands and say, well, the government is not that these people have guns and all that. David went without any sophisticated weapon and brought down Goliath. I am not unmindful of the fact that what you have prescribed must be the thing that needs to be done. And one of those things is simply the fact that do we have a nation that we can say that we have citizens and those who are ruling or leading us that are leading by example? If we still want to continue to fashion some of these things, then we must think of a way of restructuring. We must begin to now look at it again critically and looking at state policing, community policing, which has its own pros and cons. Eddie was talking, Eddie for the life of me was talking about Amotekun. Is Amotekun replicated in other regions? And if Amotekun is not replicated in other regions, are we not talking about looking for the solution? We have a bad situation on our hands. And so I say, yes, I agree with you, my dear ladies, that is most unfortunate. In fact, let me even make it a bit much more complex. Some people within the community who know some of these bad people that are doing whatever it is, if they go to want to go and report, it is the person you go to report and they say, oh, you are the one that came to report and all that. That happened in this country before. So there is a lot of palpable fear. We need courageous people. We need people that we have. I'm sorry again. The man at the center. Somebody was it Atijayo Fayose that made a statement of television some 2 days ago that you need. He used the word. He said you need men to go into a sanatorium to be able to bring some things. You need a head shrinker to come in there and be bold. You will not fear for your life. Fella made it point back. We are helpless, I agree. But we shouldn't keep quiet. We should not continue to run away from
it. Taking one step. We have
to take.
Gets us closer to the goal. Yes,
my household must be clean. My next neighbor must be clean, and it's going to be my responsibility and the responsibility of that household. And if you have more and more such scandals lighting, it's going to be easy. Also, for those who are going to come, to come and find a way to help us. We're going to be doing population census. Let's be true about it. This is not the time that we now be padding and repadding and stuff like that. We need those developments. Yes. Secondly, our security forces, they know some of these people. Mr. Adishile, you are talking about the fact that sophisticated weapons are in the hands of all these people. They know those who supply some of those weapons. Let's go find a way to stop them. It's possible for us to stop them. So if you start from the top, we also must work from the bottom, and then we have the middle. What you are doing in the studio is like the middle, the libero, making sure that at least we continue to talk to one another, make the thing that we need to see. For instance, one of the things that that I expected to see in the last regime, hopefully the continued regime, will be the fact that when our people are running from pillar to post and stuff like that, one faith wanted to annihilate the other faith. We see somebody else from that other faith who decided that he was going to harbor those people. Those are the kind of people we should be giving national awards. Those are the kind of people that we should be showing out to say, yeah, you are great. You are a Christian. You have helped to save Muslims. You are of the Muslim faith. You have helped to save Christians in that kind of a claim. You are TV, and you are beloved, and then you are seen to be a shining example. Those are some of the things I am saying. Let our light shine before men so that they will see the good works of the Almighty, and God is going to help us.
Amen.
Thank you for what to do.
Yeah, thank you so much to do. All right, let me just run through all the rest of the stories on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. Insecurity, Southeast governors leaders to meet Tinubu. That's a statement from Uzo Dima, and okay, we're going to be talking about this after 60 years at Obasanjo Kukafalano tasked Tinubu on democratic principles after Advocate Special Committee for Electoral Case. Above the nameplate, we have Adamawa poll. Court stops prosecution of suspended rec. And again, Binani sues INEC over more nullification of our declaration as a governor. All right, and we have Nigerian facing weak purchasing power, intense inflationary pressures. Market flooded with imports from Asia as IMF stroke World Bank backs reform. And there's this one on the front page of Nigerian Tribune that I would like to just read out to our viewers this morning, because there's a need for caution here. Diphtheria, and the story there is that everyone is at risk. That's a warning coming from our federal government this morning, and the governor of we see that right there in Osun State, the governor has ordered orders contact tracing as virus claims residents, and the federal government is saying that the diphtheria is something that we have to really watch out for. As at now, the department stated that this particular disease is a life-threatening infection caused by bacteria and is easily transmitted from person to person through coughing, sneezing, and contact with open sore or blister, a wound on the skin. So those are things that we should be wary of in times like this. This is happening right there in Osun State, and I know some time ago we had the news in one of the northern states also. But the fact remains that this is a virus that every Nigerian should be wary of, because we know that Nigerians, we are very, very nomadic in nature. So it can just, do not say it is there in Osun State or in the northern part of the country. It cannot get to here. It cannot get here in Lagos or probably get to the east. We're very nomadic in nature, and this is something that can easily be passed on from person to person. And the signs and symptoms are commonly associated, according to medical practitioners, with diphtheria are sore throat, which can be mild or severe, scratchy and painful, with thick gray or white membrane that covers the back of the throat and the tonsils. Others are swollen and tender lymph nodes and neck fever, which can be moderate to high fever, usually above 38 degrees centigrade. Cough, difficulty swallowing, rapid breathing, and difficulty in breathing, leading to blockage of the airway. Some other symptoms are general weakness and fatigue, and hoarseness or changes in voice when it has affected the vocal cords. So those are the things to actually watch out for. Diphtheria, it's out in town, and it is almost becoming a reality in our society. So we should be wary, be careful not to interact too much or use people, avoid too much of close contact. I think that should be the order of the day now. And someone has got cough or someone is sneezing, be wary. Please keep your distance and keep safe. All right, what do we have in the Nation newspaper this morning?
The Nation newspaper this morning, 800,000 liters vessel with stolen crude intercepted and destroyed. NNPCL Securities raises bar in crude theft battle. 64 illegal crude joints found. 77 illegal refineries destroyed. Tinubu targets 30 trillion naira revenue in 3 years. Obasanjo lashes lawmakers for fixing their own salary. Well, we've discussed most of these things, already.
No, I think we should talk about, the lawmakers. I was thinking you were going to be interested in that, lawmakers fixing their own
well,
pay.
perhaps because we already discussed, we talked about it this morning.
Yes.
So I just think, it will be duplicating our effort. U.S. waives export duty on cocoa. Cocoa is a Nigerian pronunciation. Cocoa.
Okay, cocoa.
EcoBank writes first bank over Otu Deco. And the last story is above the nameplate headline, sordid tales of Lagos Abeokuta Expressway users. Now, this is
interested.
Yes,
I'm interested in that
yes. So I was trying to, because we don't have too much time, I was trying to get to this story and discuss this particular story. I have a few questions to ask here. Every day we come on air and we talk about the situation in, for example, the area I live, and the area I live is within a state, a particular state, and we talk about this every day, and I hear this on television, on radio, and people are complaining. I mean, we don't get this kind of complaints from Lagos State, on a constant basis. Yes, nothing is perfect, perfection, we haven't attained perfection yet, but, you can see the effort being put in, and you can see the changes, that Lagos State is undergoing, and, we're happy with these things, and it just tells us, that because we've taken these steps, we'll eventually complete the mile that we're, that we want to get to, that we want to cover. But you see, this problem it seems to be an Ogun State problem, and I'm going to emphasize on this because I live in Ogun State. Sordid tales of the Lagos Abeokuta Expressway users, and I was saying to Yinka Kenny off camera, I said, should it be the Lagos Abeokuta Expressway or the Lagos Ibadan Expressway? Because I thought it should be the Lagos Ibadan Expressway. But honestly, when I opened the newspaper and saw the pictures, because the last time I went to Abeokuta, it wasn't this bad.
No, and I think it's the road between, we're talking about the Alakuko, to Songo axis, isn't it now?
Well,
I think that's the axis of the road we're talking about now. Yes, because I understand. Yes, the Obadia, Ijaye, Mero, Kola, that's that axis.
That same axis.
Yes, it's really bad. I remember that I applied that route sometime a few weeks ago, and I saw that the roads have really deteriorated and almost not motorable.
Do we have pictures for this, to display on the screen?
So it's almost not motorable. That's what we can see there on the screen, and I begin to wonder if their government officials fly shopper,
But
fly shopper when they are actually going out. Honestly, that road
to be fair enough. Let's be fair. Fair is fair. Okay. Looking at these roads, they're not as bad as the roads that go into Magboro.
This road is terrible.
I know it's terrible. So what I'm saying is that we can see how bad these roads are. These roads are gone. But guess what? It's worse at my end. I told you yesterday.
Oh my God.
It's worse at